Of course we pandered to blacks. They're in every TV commercial.
Now I'm going to take some time to share with some people some of my thoughts. These are the things that went racing through my mind when I found out that Charlie Kirk had met his demise.
Of course we pandered to blacks. They're in every TV commercial. They get more privilege.
He said we pandered to black people. You know, there are people that actually believe that America panders to black people. We're the last picked and first fired. The level of discrimination that black people are facing in this country is bar none the platinum edition. And this guy says, America panders to black people. Look what we do for them. We gave them affirmative action. Without even for a second admitting that the primary beneficiary of affirmative action were white women. And who do white women marry? White guys. So the white family were the primary beneficiaries of affirmative action. It's just facts.
Privileges to come into society. They come into every college on preferential with lower test scores. You can't ever say anything negative. You can lose your job.
He said you can't ever say anything negative to black people. He means call them ninjas. That's what he means. That's what he means. He means call us the N-word. And for this, I'm getting all types of hate mail and people saying screw you and unsubscribing. For this guy who says, my people, no one can say anything bad about us? Really? I mean, it's okay to be a conservative. Be what you want to be, but live in reality. There were entire industries on shitting on black people. There was an entire movie scene that the whole thing was about exploiting black people. It was called black exploitation films. There's no Asian exploitation films. There's no white guy exploitation films. Just black people exploitation films. And this guy sits in front of these people and puts this out. See what I'm saying? And I think what it is since white Americans do not have a history we do, they just see it as an opinion. Before we go any further, let me let you know the Tim Black Wolfpack is dedicated, committed, 10 toes down to reporting the truth, unbiased, and not working for any political party. If that sounds good to you, go to jointimblack.com, become a member of the Tim Black Wolfpack. That's because they're not really emotionally or physically connected to anything in the realm. Because for every... We'll be here all night. He says a lot of shit.
You have your entire life obliterated if you say something racist. And yet we have to hear about how racist...
Why do you have to say anything racist? You have your whole life obliterated. Really? No, obliterated would be what happened to that school or to the churches we were in or to our towns that your granddaddy blew up because we started making money of our own. That's obliterated. Mel Gibson not being able to make a new movie for a decade was not obliterated. He was still very rich. I mean, I don't understand. But I do understand. This is considered the war of words. Now, some things are just lies. And who's destroying them? And look, guys, you know what? I don't want to take too much time on each point, but I tell you, it's upsetting because black people do not have the ability to cancel you. If anybody's canceling you, it's other white people. Frankly, they're the ones with the buying power and the numbers to cancel you and the positions to cancel you. Black people can't cancel white people, and you know that. Any more than you can cancel black people who do black clubs. Why do you think most of my audience has changed? Because I learned the hard way, white people cancel Negroes quick. Get out of line, Negro. But we really don't have the ability to cancel white people. Not unless they're in our industry. There's not many industries we own that we can do that. We don't even own rap music. What could we cancel? How the hell could black people cancel white people? Let's keep going, man. Like I said, I'm sorry. I don't want to be here too long.
We are. How about you take responsibility for your own actions instead of blaming the white man?
Next on deck.
Yeah, we don't take responsibility for our actions. I mean, that's such a loaded thing to say. As if one black person who may not take responsibility for whatever they've done has anything to do with the entire group of people. And that, my friends, is patented. That's like textbook. That's like textbook racism. When you think, but that's not enough of a reason for me to say some things about him, is it? Oh, no. You know, frankly, guys, I didn't know I had that many people following me that like Charlie Kirk. It is eye-opening to see so many people were actually following me that were fans of this guy. I think he did me a favor. Let's keep going. He's got more to say.
With Tim Black.
We note in our piece that Kirk describes King as, quote, a bad guy. It's true. And Kirk self-described very, very radical view that the country made a mistake when it passed the Civil Rights Act. Also true. As we note in the piece, Kirk has previously described Kirk as a hero and a civil rights icon. It's true. I used to be wrong. What inspired Kirk to shift his view on MLK? Why does Kirk think that MLK is a bad guy? When Kirk says that MLK says, quote, one good thing he didn't believe, what does he mean by that? Why does Kirk believe passing the Civil Rights Act was a mistake? Now, again, apparently they don't listen to the show because we do that at least once a week, right? Once a week we talk about why the Civil Rights Act was a mistake.
Yeah, he thinks it's fine. He thinks black people don't deserve civil rights. Wow, I wonder why so many black people are crying for Charlie Kirk today. This a guy that doesn't even think you should be able to sit where you want on a bus, dummy. Goofball. It's a guy who doesn't think you should be able to live wherever you want. Have voting rights. These are the things that the Civil Rights Act gave us. And he's saying it was a mistake to give you ninja civil rights. We're going to have some fun tonight, man. I got a lot of content on this. I might have to take this jacket off. It's going to get hot in here.
Next on deck with Tim Black.
I live like a capitalist every single day, Shank. I live as a capitalist, okay? I live when I believe. No. What do I do? I get charity every single year.
Crime, like, I'm sorry, if I see a black pilot, I'm going to be like, boy, I hope he's qualified. Because of DEI, it begs the question when you see a black pilot, you wonder, you say, I hope they are qualified.
You know, to any young black person here or people that are not, well, people that may need to hear this. You know, just because you say, hey, you got to hire some black people, does that mean you got to hire black people that aren't qualified? You know, there are some black people that are qualified. But see, America's so racist. If they had 10 people up there and they had 2 slots, they'd hire all white guys. Or if they had 5 slots, they could all be equally qualified, and you could still say, let's hire the white guy, he's a better fit. Oh, let's hire the white woman, she's a better fit. That's what discrimination is. So I'm not saying in all cases this is how it was done. I'm saying when people are trying to be diverse because they look in their office and they see they have no black people, and I'm a person who's worked for companies and looked around and been the only ninja in the room. How many white guys have worked places where they were the only white person in the room? White ladies, when was the last time you worked somewhere in a professional setting and you were the only white woman or the only white person in the room? I've been there. Discrimination is real, whether Charlie Kirk or any of you jackasses want to believe it or not. And just because I was there doesn't mean I was unqualified. It just means maybe I got lucky to get in. But that does not mean I wasn't qualified. Racism is so serious and discrimination is so covert. You can be discriminated on and not even know it. No one's going to tell you why you didn't get called back. They looked up your address and figured you live from a black neighborhood. They looked at your last name and deduced you were black. Black. So if a company decides, hey, we want to hire some black people too, because all we keep hiring left to our own devices is white people, white people, white people, white people, maybe an Hispanic or two. That's not hiring down, dumbass. It doesn't have to be. It could just be hiring the person we normally wouldn't pick because they're the wrong color. But you can't even be honest and say you pick people that you feel like you'll be more comfortable with. And you tend to pick people that look like you. You can't even be honest and say that. You have to say, if you get a black person, you don't know, they might not be qualified. You can look at their resume and see if they're qualified, goofy. Why can't you just look at the resume? If the resume, part of the studies that I've looked at show that even when we had the same qualifications, once you found out we were black, we didn't get hired. But that's a Charlie Kirk that some of y'all have been bawling your eyes out over. I'm not saying he's a bad guy. I'm not even saying he means this shit. I'm saying he said it, and people thought he meant it. That's why he's been successful, because they brought it. I don't even know if it's true. I don't even know if it's true. I don't know if what's real or not real about him.
If I'm dealing with somebody in customer service who's a moronic black woman, I wonder, is she there because of her excellence, or is she there because of affirmative action? It almost creates thought patterns that are not.
There are no moronic white women that you might think might be in a position because they're white women, and they're maybe married to the person who owns the company, or their cousin, or a nephew, or a sister, daughter of someone in power, and nepotism. Nothing, never came out of Charlie Kirk's mouth. It was always the blacks. So it really bothers me. You know what, guys? I don't know how many of these people that I have still hanging around me, but let me tell you something. Honesty is really important. We could disagree, but at least be honest. You know things white people say about black people when black people ain't around. You've been white your whole life. Unless you got your skin bleached, you've been white. You know what they say. Why does Charlie Kirk get to pretend like he don't know what white people be saying and thinking and doing? See, it's all bullshit. You know, white people have barbershops and hair salons. They go fishing. They play golf. They talk. You really think he's that dumb you don't know that there are humongous stereotypes and anti-black bias all over this damn country? That's why I like the white guys that I do like, because they're honest. Can't stand, or I don't care as much for the ones that aren't. Let's keep going, Johnson. We have
Not necessarily. No one really cares when it's HR managers. No one cared when it was, just kind of paper shufflers or even engineers. But now when it's like, wait, hold on a second. You're going to remove my appendix and you're a black lesbian.
Charlie Kirk. Next on deck with Tim Black.
You are race obsessed. I am not race obsessed. Like, they're killing white people in the streets in South Africa. It's literally a mini white genocide. You see a black pilot, you wonder, boy, is that person there because they earned it or because they were placed there? What percentage of young blacks have both a mom and a dad raising them? Blacks in America. Black women married the government and divorced the men. Why do blacks have a broken family? Why is it that black America is one of the only populations, that and Native American populations, that have not been able to overcome such evil, horrors, and injustices? Blacks commit more crimes than whites do. You talk about race more than the Grand Wizard of the KKK. Right.
Are you guys sure I can't hold that against him? Really? That's just an opinion, huh?
The Tim Black Show streams Sundays, Mondays, Wednesdays, and Fridays, 10:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Wolfpack.